tonight's shave is after a mystery box that I purchased from an online shaver, and I based my assumption on his reputation as a good guy, and I was well rewarded with a lot of great stuff, and a lot of it was stuff that the vast majority of stuff that I am really going to enjoy. So I'm really pumped about it. And a new soap base has been around for a while for declaration grooming, and called Icarus, and they just released the fall scents. I think Harmony. There was another one, Dark Fall. I love that scent. I have it in the previous base, so I don't think I'll get it in Icarus. And then this third one I was very interested in because it's new, Dirtyver. And I'm growing to like a lot of the vetiver scents that are out there. And the thing about Icarus is that it takes the existing lanolin and bison bases that was a previous part of the declaration grooming inventory, and it adds in, I believe it's sheep's milk that it's adding in as a part of that as well. A lot of people are really touting it as an amazing base. I've tried it in one scent, the Shore, which is supposed to be a beach scent, but to me it was more like just kind of simple candy, or kind of a candied lip gloss, you know, is kind of what I got from it. Didn't really get anything beachy. That's just me. But Dirtyver really intrigued me. I was really thinking about picking it up, and lo and behold, it comes in this mystery box. And so I feel I'm very grateful, and I feel awesome that it came. So let us take a 1/4 teaspoon of it, and I think just a hair less, not an exact complete 1/4 teaspoon. This is a little harder soap than the bison base, I think, and now I really like the bison base. Let's just see what happens with this base. I think I was so put off by the fact that Shore, which was a sample that I had received, just wasn't beachy at all to me, that I didn't really look at the base too analytically. It's a great scent. I hope it's not too weak. Just a good many of the modern scents today, they just lack strength when you put them on. This has just been getting big reviews ever since it came out. So let's give it a shot. My towel's gone. All right, that's how you make a towel magically appear. The other equipment I'll be using, the blade will be my Nacet that's got a ton of uses on it. And 50 on the front, 60 on the back, plus 2. So this is going to be use number 63. How about that? I shaved with this razor yesterday. I used the setting 4, the base plate 4, and it was a little rough. So I'm going to dial it down to a 3. So I'm going to pause you and put that blade in. All right. Dealing with my usual water, cool, and a little bit on the hard side. I just rinsed my face. That's what I like to do before. So now it's time to take this pre-wetted, since it's a synthetic, I don't need to soak it at all. And I'm going to go ahead and sling a lot of the water out of it, and we're just going to start grinding. Oh, the brush. Look at this guy, little chubby dude, probably a 28 millimeter, 30 millimeter knot. And obviously a tuxedo knot synthetic, but the chunkiest handle I've ever used by far. So let's just see. Let's see how well, for my own personal style, this type of short handle works. I've avoided short handles for most of my shaving because I bowl lather, and this means I get my fingers in there a lot more. Now, go ahead and start adding some water. Add a half teaspoon. Synthetics are great for whipping up lathers quickly. They're kind of foolproof for beginners. Even, you know, a lot of vets like them a lot. I typically find that most of the synthetic knots that I've experienced are ones that are have too much backbone. Like for instance, right now, when I try to push this brush across the thing, see, it kind of flops because it's not really splaying. And so I may find that I love this handle, but I may not like the knot very much. It's a beautiful handle. And the person who sold me the mystery box said that they may include a brush made from their very own workshop. DrivenLegend is the Reddit username, and I believe he makes brush handles. So this might be, if he put a brush in there that he made, I'm guessing that this is the one. Oh, this is a nice scent. Yeah, it is a little dirty. Just kind of an earthy, soily, dirty, along with the vetiver scent. Really like it. Now, with such a big knot, I'm usually using 22 millimeters, which are a lot smaller. And so I don't know if I have used enough soap. I think this is plenty of soap if I had one of those size brushes. So we'll just see what happens. Sorry about the clanking. Good scent coming up from here. And now we've got 2 teaspoons of water in it. I've got big hands, and I've usually focused on longer handles. But I've always liked the look of some of the Chubbies, some of the ones with shorter, stumpy handles, and so it was really cool to get one in this mystery box so that I can just see how well it works. It's a heavier handle than most of the ones I have, for sure, so that fatigues you just a little bit in terms of lather creation. All the mixing, so it's possible this might be better with a face latherer. Gonna reload my guy. So now we've got 2.5 teaspoons in. Don't have a lot of quantity right now that's outside of the brush. However, it's possible that the brush is, you know, holding a pass or 2 inside of it, you know, maybe. But let's see if we can get this lather to keep coming up in volume by sending some water to it. And I'll just have to remember to evaluate it kind of in 2 ways: the handle feel, and then also the knot itself. You know, because if I really like the way the handle is gripped, and okay, now I'm finally getting some stuff. Look at the way that lather is laying right there. All the little folds, a little bit of it's got a harshness to it. It's not soft, you know, and here's some right here. To me, that usually indicates that it needs more water. So let's do that. Of course, each base is different. So hopefully this is not going to overwater this base. It's not a super strong scent coming up, but it's nice. It's kind of classic. Got a really nice. Yeah, that's coming up. That is good. Let's keep going a little bit more. Yeah, we're getting volume now. I was a little concerned with this big brush, you know, having not used one of this size before. I just didn't know if it was going to swallow up the lather, but it's looking good. It is taking a little bit more effort. Gloss is crazy on this thing, the sheen. It's a good scent. Don't escape. I want you. You can look at the elasticity here by pulling up a peak, looking how it behaves. And you should do the same, or I mean you can if you want. And then once you figure out where you like your lather, then you can remember how that peak behaved and then stop when you get to that same peak. It could be a good milestone for you, a good tester. All right, you know what? Let's just try it as it is right now. Normally I might push it a little farther and kind of get it a little slicker. Just test it now. And so let's do our finger test as well. Get some on the tips, press it in slowly, see what kind of resistance. Yeah, a little bit of cushion in terms of resistance. Now glide across your fingerprints. I can tell that there are ridges, but not so much. And sometimes that's a really great stopping point. It's got some nice slickness in terms of rinsing that off my fingers, but it doesn't take super long time. Sometimes that's good too. All right, I'm going to splash my face. A little bit of water. All right. Oh, that's a good scent. Yeah, I'm afraid this knot is just kind of being pokey. I mean, do you see it kind of jostling my skin whenever I reverse directions? Even when I go in circles, it's kind of like it's pivoting on its tips. You know, it's not splaying very well. Maybe this is the kind of brush you really only use on the tips. Maybe not the kind, the knot at least, not really the kind for me. This is pretty much what I experience with most other synthetics. There are some out there that have less backbone. I mean, this is just jostling me like crazy. It does fine in the painting aspect. So I find it uncomfortable, this type of knot. But a lot of people like them. So, And in a way, because it's so stiff, I can't use some of my existing measurements. Like I will look at the troughs. As you do a swipe here, you can look back at the troughs, but this doesn't really leave troughs because it drags so rigidly across the skin. All right, let's shave it and see what happens. I haven't done, oh, what a good scent. It's just getting me every once in a while. I'm gonna guess a 4 out of 10, maybe 5, and I'm happy with that level. That's, I like it around a 5. 4 is kind of maybe my, oh, that's smooth. Oh, that's cutting well. See, the 4 on this razor was just too rough. For this particular blade, the 3 is a very different comfort level. And of course, this is an old blade, right? So with a newer blade, I was able to shave with a 4 as a general rule. But 4 did not work well on the 60-second use of the blade. This is very comfortable. Let's hope that upon inspection at the end of the shave, that it's also very effective. Slickness is just tremendous here. See how it feels when I rinse. Yeah, silky smooth is a way I would describe this particular lather. Did great. All right, let's load up this high backbone brush. It does have very soft tips, but it almost doesn't matter when the backbone is just so strong that it shoves my face around so much. And it would appear that this particular water ratio is perfect for my own needs. So that is a good, that works out. Feels great while putting the lather on. And that scent is just kind of understated, confident, earthy, grounded, not arrogant. Cross grain. Still very comfortable. Of course, if it's comfortable in the first pass, it's almost always comfortable on the second. Tiny bit of blade feel, but really quite smooth. And rinse. So I'm about to put on the third pass, and I just wanted to show you, I don't know if you can make out just how glossy and shiny this is. So it's just a tremendous base. Really tremendously slick. Tremendous. Am I using that too much? Feels great on my face. And this scent is just fantastic. masculine scent. It's kind of new. I'm trying to use as many words as I can describe it in case you're here kind of looking for a description. Love it. Really love it. The problem is, do I go and purchase Darkfall too? Because I really like that one, but since I already have it in one base, I don't really need it in the Icarus base. So we'll think on that a little bit more. But here's the thing, Barrister and Mann came out with Reserve, and I definitely would compare this with Reserve. Reserve is the only other soap that I would say is silky smooth, and so this is in good company. And then Holy Cow has its donkey milk version, which is not quite as good as this in my opinion. Of course, it all depends on what you're looking for in your lather. So any one of the top ones could be something that fits you. I recommend samples. MaggardRazors.com has a good selection of samples for a lot of the top soaps, and it's a great inexpensive way to try some bases out. So that's the third pass in the books. Let me rinse off. All right, so we do need to try for that half pass and a little bit of extra lather here. Probably an extra pass, maybe pass and a half. Maybe two. Oh, what a good scent. Almost reminds me of maybe, I think it just reminds me of some other soaps, and they must have the vetiver in them. That just must be why. Very, very nice. All right. Let's try to get these stubborn hairs right in this area with a light touch. And listening to the hairs. All right. Here's the other area here that I'm trying to come at. Very light touch, and hopefully, see some hairs there. So let's change strategies just a little. With this concave area, it's just so hard to come at it. If I come at it at a 90-degree angle as a cross-grain pass, then I'm kind of a bridge spanning between two valleys, and the center doesn't really touch very well. Let's try kind of a gliding diagonal cut, and this razor is the soap is just providing a tremendous amount of glide. This is actually an against the grain pass, which usually gives me irritation. But this soap is really helping out. And this is a really good blade. All right, so I took a look at the results, and they are above average. Probably thanks to that last little bit where I just really specifically attacked it at a certain angle and then was kind of able to go against the grain. This 3 setting is probably mild enough to do that against the grain pass, and it had been prepped because of 3 previous passes, in a way 4 passes to this area before I was able to go against the grain. So very happy with the results. Comfort is excellent, except for the brush kind of jabbing me a little, but the irritation is non-existent. And I was also very glad to receive the matching aftershave splash for this scent. So let's give it a shot. I don't know if it needs to be shaken, so let's just kind of mix it a little bit. Yeah, it does kind of look like it has some free-floating ingredients or something, so I will agitate it a little bit. We'll see if the wife notices this tomorrow. I'm not getting any alcohol burn, so maybe the declaration splashes don't contain alcohol. Is there an ingredients list here? Witch hazel, okay, it does contain some alcohol, but it's not the first ingredient. Witch hazel is the first, and then I think water. It's kind of hard to read. It's a kind of a dark on dark text situation, but I feel a little bit of a menthol burn there. We'll see how long that lasts. But nothing as far as sting from any alcohol that was in there. So my technique was probably pretty solid. Encouraged about that since I did some against the grain on my neck. Usually verboten. All right. So it turns out the 3 head on this guy for this particular old blade that's kind of smoothed over probably is fantastic. Good match. The 4, not so much. Well, dang it, it's just been a little while, and the menthol burn here is more of less of a cooling sensation for my skin and more of a burning type sensation, which I don't really enjoy. But I like the scent a lot. It's also discoloring a little bit. It's kind of a brown, it's got a tannish color to it. It's kind of, but it's close to my own skin tone enough to where it's not going to bother anything. So it turns out this is a pretty thirsty soap. I used for that almost 1/4 teaspoon of soap. I used 3 1/3 teaspoon of water, and that's fine. And that gave me a soap lather kind of the way I like it. It was a little bit on the luxurious side. It wasn't super dense, but if it's super dense, you don't get as good of a slickness and protection. So for me, it was just right. I could go even a little thinner, but there was plenty of slickness as it was. So that was maybe the perfect ratio for me. A little bit of luxury feeling when the rinse comes time to happen, especially on the 2nd and 3rd passes. But so that ratio right there makes me a happy camper, at least for this kind of brush. And the quantity of lather I ended up with, pretty good. I could probably back down the ratio just a hair if I wanted to really save the soap, but I don't see any reason to really do that, because it would be just, you wouldn't want to miss it. So I'll clean up. Really happy with the comfort. Yeah, I'm still feeling that menthol effect a little bit, or whatever cooling agent was used, probably menthol. So, Dirtyver, very happy, very pleased with this scent. I think it was a great idea to take a vetiver and just mix some kind of soil, kind of a fresh soil note in there with it. I think it's a great combination that kind of makes it greater than the sum of its parts. I think it's wonderful. All right, summation. kind of voiced a lot of opinions about the different things, so I think you know I love the soap. Razor performed really well with this blade at this age. The splash was very good. It had good ingredients to it. It died, the menthol kick died down about maybe 15 minutes after applying it, maybe 10 minutes, so it wasn't that long, but it was strong enough for me not to prefer that splash. But the other parts of the scent, tremendous. The post-shave feel of the soap, I had to go help out with the family right after I shaved, before I put anything on post-shave, and it was great. Okay, and if that's important to you, there you go. I have oily skin, and so it's not important to me. If I ever need a balm, I just throw the balm on and I'm fine. But it seems like this might be a good soap for folks who need to have dry skin. The backbone of the brush, a little too strong for me. I kind of, this center ridge right here, I kind of wish wasn't there in this particular design. I wish there was a big old crevasse there for my finger to kind of nestle in and get some good grip. But I generally found it pretty usable, the grip not being in the way really. It's just the backbone of these particular bristles was just a little too stiff for me. I like a splay on my face, so all right, there we go. It was a good shave. No irritation at all. So there we go. I hope this helped you in some way, maybe with some of the new products. And there we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care. Good night.